A news hour tonight. Muslims worldwide observe most important day of Hajj. Biosafety Agency issues warning as cholera outbreak death toll rises to 30. In latest NBS report, Nigeria's inflation rate rises to 33.95%. Another foreign rebel attacks spark deadly protest in Democratic Republic of Congo. Hello and welcome to Trust TV's News Hour. I am Chiamaka Mwafo. Now the news. Muslim pilgrims in Mecca on Saturday witnessed the most important day in the pilgrimage, Arafat Day, amidst prayers and supplication for God's mercy and blessing. Sharif Al-Hassan, who is on the plain of Mount Arafat, tells us more on the significance of the day.
More than 1.5 million pilgrims across the world Friday night started another journey from Mina to Arafat for the second day of Hajj rituals. The day of Arafat, or Yom Arafat, is a very significant day in the lives of Muslims across the world. It is on this day that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala perfected and completed the religion of Islam. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala also says, anyone who prays on the plain of Arafat, his prayers is as good and answered. But the most significant thing in all of this is that this day, the Arafat day, anyone who misses standing on the plain of Arafat here stands a chance of losing the entire pilgrimage. Throughout the day, pilgrims will be making supplications, praying to God and reciting the noble Quran in search of favor and praying to Almighty Allah for their different priorities in life.
So Arafat is the most important aspect of Hajj, is the peak of Hajj. So whoever finds himself here must thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And then the most important again is after being on the Arafat, you are able to witness Arafat, and then go spare your life. You went back home. You are expected to be a clean person. You are not expected to go back to the sins that you have been committing before. So you see, once somebody is lucky, he was on Arafat and then he went back home and he continued his, he did not go back to his previous life, then it means he's a clean person, and inshallah, you should expect that when he passes away, he's going to Jannah. One has no any other business except to pray. Praying for himself, praying for his family, praying for his country, praying for the leadership, praying for every other person for good of the country and for good of himself. And he should also ask God for forgiveness. So this is where the box ends.
With the rising temperature of close to 48 degrees Celsius under the desert sun, these pilgrims came or climbed this hill. It's so important because this is the hill where Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam delivered his last sermon during his last pilgrimage, closely 14 centuries ago.
I don't know how to express myself today because this is the first time I make it. We are going to pray for myself, for my parents, for my siblings, for my state and for my country at large, because we have a lot of challenges in Nigeria. So that now it's time for me to stand here to pray heartily for our country to be in a position it before.
In a nutshell, the day of Arafat is seen as a golden opportunity, not just for pilgrims here, but for Muslims across the world to seek for Allah's abundant mercy and of course to get much more closer to Him. From the Mount of Arafat, Sharif Al-Hassan, Trust TV News.
Now, a few hours before the Eid al-Kabir celebration, prices of rams in Adamawa State and other parts of the country continue to skyrocket, forcing a cross-section of masses to forgo the religious rite. Gibson Saudigo reports.
This is the Tiken Sani Animal Market in Yola town of Adamawa State. which is known for its robust status, particularly during festive seasons like the Eid al-Kabir celebration. But today, it is nearly empty of buyers as a result of the economic hardship bedeviling the country. Marketers are only standing and watching, praying and hoping things get better before the close of the day. Some have started counting their losses already.
Fuel is expensive, which we all know, but even at that, you can still gain something if people are sympathetic. But the lack of it is the reason for our predicament. I am calling all Nigerians to be sympathetic so that life will sail smoothly.
Some blame the subsidy removal by the federal government as the main cause for the hardship Nigerians are currently facing.
And looking at the financial meltdown, and people are far from financially healthy, they could not be able to get their money to buy rams because of the high exorbitant of price of food items. So most of them concentrated in food than buying the rams because of the economic meltdown of the country. It is a fervent hope that God will allow to provide more for the people. If you can buy a ram of 100,000, you have to pay more transport. Let's say you buy a ram from Ghana at the rate of 100,000, you have to pay about 110,000 or 20 naira to bring it to Yola. And if people are still looking for profit, and so that contributed a lot in the highest return of price of rams in this year. So we are appealing to the government to look into this because people are really suffering.
To be frank, we don't make sales due to lack of money. Rams and cows are expensive, and people can't afford it. This is caused by the subsidy removal. We beg the government to please return the subsidy.
Due to the current inflation across Nigeria, you have rams here going for 300,000 to 400,000. The least you can get is 40,000 to 50,000. From Tiken Sani in Yola town of Adamawa State, Gibson So Adugo, Trust TV News, Yola.
Still staying with the celebrations, with less than 6 hours to the Eid al-Kabir festival, residents of Maiduguri, the capital of Borno State, are facing difficulties to purchase a ram due to economic hardship. Now, Adamu Ngode speaks to some buyers at a ram market in the state. His report is hereby presented.
This is the sight and sound of Enono Market along Maiduguri Kano Road. The market serves as central market to the densely populated Bulunkutu general area, where Muslims usually purchase rams. But this year, the market observed low patronage due to lack of purchasing power caused by the economic reforms of the current administration. When Trust TV visited Bulunkutu Ram Market, buyers lamented how the cost of rams, sheep, and foodstuff are beyond the reach of the common man. But the primary concern of Ibrahim Muhammad, a civil servant, is not even how well to celebrate Salah, but how to put 3 square meals on the table. I slaughtered a ram last year. I divided the meat with my relatives and neighbors. However, due to difficulties, I'm unable to slaughter a ram this year. I just bought food items with my immediate family. As a civil servant, I cannot afford the ram this year because it is expensive. But we will continue to pray for our country as it faces untold hardships that disrupt our day-to-day activities. A resident, Bulama Mai, said, last year's Salah was better than this year. According to him, many cannot afford rams.
This one, as of last year, it is not up to 100,000. But now, 400,000. I even presented 350, but they refused. So they are looking for 400. So look at this bottle. As of last year, it is not up to 20 to 30,000.
A ram seller, Saliu Adam, said, patronage this year is very low. Look at these big and healthy rams. But there are no buyers. We expected buyers from cities and neighboring countries, but they are yet to arrive. About 5 years ago, majority of these rams were worth no more than 100,000 naira each. with the smallest ranging from 50,000 to 80,000 naira. One of the causes of this high cost of ram is banditry, which occurs in many sections of the northern state. Residents urge government to introduce policies that would alleviate their sufferings.
So staying in line with that, now the current economic downturn in the country is forcing Katsina residents to abandon plans to celebrate Eid with the usual fanfare. Although Katsina residents mostly are low-income earners, many are making efforts to celebrate Salah with new clothes, prepare special dishes, among many others, despite the biting economic situation. Abdullahi Yamadi has a situation report.
The mood is unusual and unpleasant, indicating the economic status of many Nigerians who may likely not afford festive meals this Eid al-Kabir Salah celebrations. Traders and other vegetable sellers at the popular Erkutungu, Chake, Greenhouse and Yangwari, as well as Katsina Central Market, are lamenting low patronage, attributing the situation to harsh economic predicaments in the country. The market is not encouraging because people are not patronizing our goods due to lack of money, and the prices are high. At the moment, the situation is not healthy for many of us here. Many Katsina residents who are mostly civil servants have given up on buying sacrificial animals, saying the 45,000 naira given to them as loan and Salah gift by the government is not enough to make ends meet. As an alternative, many are buying food items such as millet and guinea corn to make simple dishes and fura for the Salah. Well, I only came to buy what I will use for Salah day, but it seems unaffordable. The only money I have cannot cater for half of what I wanted to buy. So if you look at it critically, you would agree with me that we are heading to nowhere and the future is bleak. At the regular and temporary livestock markets in Katsina, traders are lamenting low patronage, while the few prospective buyers are also complaining about high cost of the animals, making it unaffordable to many.
The price of animal of this season is very, very much higher. Can't even compare from last 2 years back to now because of the situation that we are facing now. Everything is high. As you can see, all this ram now, I have almost 5 ram that I bring since day before yesterday, but nobody come and even ask for their price.
In the same vein, many residents have postponed or abandoned their travels to other places for Salah festivities, pointing accusing finger on the cost of fuel and transportation. Elsewhere, at Katsina Emirate Council, Trust TV News spotted district heads trooping to express their solidarity and unconditional support and respect to the Imam Abdul Mumin Kabir Usman, as the tradition provides. Public commentators are lamenting over lack of concern to the plight of ordinary Nigerians, especially by government and other leaders, a situation posing serious threat to the corporate existence of many societies in Nigeria. Abdullahi Ismayamadi, Trust Television News, Katsina.
Still staying with cost of living, but going down to the southwest. Hours before the Eid al-Kabir festival, Muslims are lamenting the high cost of perishable food items like tomatoes, peppers, and other foodstuff. Some traders in Lagos and Ibadan attribute the price hike to the current insecurity in certain northern parts of the country. Trust TV's Abbas Dalibi tells us more.
With the Eid just around the corner, shopping for the festives has become a strain for most households due to soaring food prices in the market. In my 12th market, Lagos, basket of tomatoes is traced between 130,000 naira to 150,000 naira, as basket of pepper sells at 180,000 naira, same as in Akinyele, Ibadan, in Oyo State. Muhammad Abdul Kabir, who was at Akinyele to purchase tomatoes and other perishable items 10 days before the Salah in order to beat the price, disclosed that the hike in the price is unbearable.
Yeah, because of the incoming Salah, I came to buy tomato and some pepper. And to my surprise, actually I've been told that the price of commodities have risen up outrageously. But I came to see by myself. Honestly speaking, I'm perturbed. The rate at which the price goes up is outrageous. I wonder what will become the fate of a common man if it comes to the market. Sincerely speaking, things are outrageously high. I came here to buy it so as to refrigerate it, because I was thinking that probably by the time the Salah comes, the thing will even rising up more than that. So that's why I came to buy it in preparation for Salah. Early, I had the intention of buying something worth of 15,000. I ended up buying tomato worth of 50,000 naira.
The traders links the current hike in the price of tomatoes and other perishable goods to seasons and the insecurity situations in some part of the north, as many farmers were being displaced and can no longer practice. Usman Yako, the chairman of Akinyele Perishable Market, links the current hike in price to the insecurity in the north.
Muka ɗauko lissafi shi wannan tumatir namu tun daga kaka idan muka lura da farahin da aka yi ta sai da hidin nan ba da sauki aka sayar ba.
Also, Usman Shehu Samfam, the chairman my top international market, attributed the situations to insecurity and pests that attacked tomatoes this year.
Ba a noman nan ainihin 'yan wayannan mutane 'yan bandit sun hana a noma.
Abdul Kabir, who is also a farmer, disclosed that government should support farmers to curtail the issues with the hike in the price of farm products.
This is a function of many factors, just like we have said. Insecurity, one. The transportation, because the cost of business is about 1,300. You understand? 1,300 naira per liter. Then the issue of the pests and diseases, infestation. So those are the factors. But actually, what I would have loved government to do is probably to assist the farmers. The subsequent ones, probably they have to assist them by getting adequate seed that are disease resistant. At the same time, they have to subsidize the inputs. I mean the seed, the fertilizer, the chemicals, both herbicide and insecticide. They need to subsidize for the farmers, at least to relieve them of this burden. The burden is just too much. I can't blame them. It's what they buy that they're going to sell. So if the government will be able to assist in that regard, I think the price become that a bit.
There is hope that the price of the perishable goods will drop as the season of the production of the items in the southwest approaches. Abbas Ibrahim Alibi, Trust TV, Lagos.
Away from that, now President Bola Tinubu has enjoined Nigerians to reflect on the essence of the occasion of the Eid al-Kabir, which bears strong meaning and significance for the nation. He said this in his message to the Muslim Ummah on the joyous occasion of the Eid al-Kabir, an event that denotes sacrifice, faith and obedience to the will of the Almighty. His message was contained in a statement signed by his special advisor on media and publicity, Ajurin Gelali, on Saturday. The president congratulated the Muslim faithful and prayed that Allah accepts their supplications and acts of obedience. The president emphasized that sacrifice and duty are essential ingredients to nation building, noting that it takes collective purpose, will and action to bring about great change. The statement further stated that President Tinubu called on citizens to spare a prayer for the nation for for continuous peace and stability while working according to purpose and promoting unity, peace and progress. Now, the Kano state government has expressed concern over how the police command in the state has been consistent in disobeying the legitimate instructions of the Governor Abba Kabir Yusuf as the Chief Security Officer in this state. The Attorney General and Commissioner of Justice Haruna Diriri made this known at a press conference held at the Government House on Saturday.
The main reason that prompted this address is the surreptitious and clandestine moves that are now in the open, designed clearly to undermine the constitutional authority of the governor and take over the control of the state by unelected persons. I am compelled to ask the question, who is usurping the authority of the commander-in-chief? Because some people are dishing out directives to security chiefs in the state, so much so that the state police commissioner, without any consultation with the chief security officer of the state or approval from the State Security Council, had issued an order banning Eid al-Kabir festivities in Kano State. How can anybody in his right senses ban Salah festivities in Kano? And when did the state governor cease to be the chief security officer of the state, that he will only see such ban on social media? Who is pushing the state commissioner of police to usurp the authority of the governor? It is important to stress that the commissioner of police has been consistent in disobeying the legitimate instructions of the governor as chief security officer, hiding behind orders from the above.
Move to health matters, where the National Biosafety Management Agency has called on the general public to exercise caution over the recent cholera outbreak in some states across the country. Head Information and Communications for NBMA, Gloria Ogwaki, in a statement on Friday in Abuja, quoted the Director General, NBMA, Dr. Agnes Asagbra, as saying there was need for carefulness. Asagbra said NBMA, in collaboration with health authorities, was actively monitoring the situation and implementing measures to contain the spread of the disease. She also called on Nigerians to imbibe various hygiene practices such as boiling drinking water or using certified water purification methods. According to her, there is a need to wash hands thoroughly with soap and water, especially before eating or preparing food. Director General also urged Nigerians to always wash their hands with soap and water after using the toilet, cook food thoroughly, and consume it while still hot. She advised that Nigerians avoid raw foods such as fruits and vegetables unless they could be peeled or washed with safe water, and to always keep the environment clean and dispose waste properly to prevent contamination. In a reaction to the cholera outbreak in the states of the Federation, including neighboring Lagos, Ogun State government has rolled out precautionary measures. The special advisor to Governor Dapo Abiodun on media and strategy, Kayode Akimade, made this known in a statement on Saturday. He explained that Governor Abiodun is seriously concerned about the development and the need to protect the people in the state, considering the proximity of Ogun to Lagos and the degree of interactions between the two states. In addition to the measures listed out by the state, residents were also advised to take measures as a way of protecting themselves against the disease. The government said the Ministry of Environment will see to the strict compliance of all the measures, warning that violators would be sanctioned. Still staying with the cholera outbreak, the Director General of the Nigerian Center for Disease Control and Prevention, NCDC, Jide Idris, has blamed the outbreak of cholera in the country on poor sanitation, personal and environmental hygiene, and lack of access to clean water. Idris, who said this while speaking on a TV program on Saturday, noted that the agency is conducting a risk assessment and alerted all the states on the outbreak. NCDC had warned the public of the increasing trend of cholera cases across the country as the rainy season intensifies. The census said from June 1st to June 11th, the census said from January 1st to June 11th, 2024, a total of 1,141 suspected and 65 confirmed cases of cholera, with 30 deaths have been reported from 96 local government areas in 30 states. It noted that the 10 states that contributed 90% to the burden of cholera include Bayelsa, Zamfara, Abia, Cross River, Bauchi, Delta, Katsina, Imo, Nasarawa and Lagos states. The DG said the state governments must ensure access to clean water and toilets for their citizens. Still in health, about half of the population in Nigeria harbors HIV-related stigma. Younger individuals, men, those without formal education, and those within lower wealth indices are more likely to hold stigmatizing views towards people living with the virus. Consequently, Christian leaders are seeking increased government intervention to combat the HIV menace and reduce stigmatization in the country.
And we pray that the menace of HIV prevalence in our society will be eliminated very quickly and very soon with the collaboration of all the relevant NGOs and especially the government. On record, we have seen that our country has not done enough, even though we have done some, but we have not done enough to prevent the transmission of this disease, this virus, from mother to their children, especially the adolescents. So we are in the forefront of the crusade campaign against this virus, and we call on the government to do more to ensure that this HIV problem get to the barest minimum, at least to a zero level.
The impact and knowledge gained and the next steps. One of the next steps which CCN has made is to openly condemn HIV stigma by the president of the Christian Council of Nigeria, Most Reverend Onoha. Last year when we gathered here, Archbishop Onoha addressed the press and condemned stigma against people living with HIV and AIDS and called on the Nigerian government to step up with her laws, making sure that the issue of the anti-stigma laws are being enforced in every state of Nigeria.
This is the News Hour on Trust TV. Still to come. Kano community traumatized by recurring flood disasters call for help. More news when we return. Please do stay with us. Welcome back. Thanks for staying with us. We're just joining us. It's the News Hour on Trust TV. Now a recap of our top stories. We told you that Muslims worldwide observe most important day of Hajj. We also let you know that Biosafety Agency issues warning as cholera outbreak death toll rises to 30. Moving on to more stories. As Nigeria battles food shortages amidst tightening economic conditions, a group in Yola, Adamawa State has re-echoed the need for an action plan to mitigate hunger and starvation in the country. This was part of a message to commemorate this year's World Day of Hunger. Again, Gibson Saldigo has more.
The youths gathered at the Adamawa Unity Bridge to begin their peaceful walk against hunger amid 32.74% food inflation in Nigeria. Worried by the current indicators in the economy, their messages were clear on the imminent threats of hunger and starvation in the most populous black nation in the world. They loudly chanted, "Nigerians are only suffering and smiling." Andrew Musa, who is the leader of the group, expressed his dismay over some government policies, asserting that the policies are failing to address the needs of millions of Nigerians.
Today we have seen the hardship and the problem that the masses are suffering. The The government at hand now had already told us and promised the masses that they were going to make life easy for the masses. But what we are seeing today is different. There is hunger in the land. People barely feed once in a day. Today, if you bring out food to share, you see people rushing, men, women, and children. So that is why we are here today, to create awareness that the people are hungry. We want to remind them of the mandates that is being given to them.
Other members of the group say food insecurity can only be solved by a strong political will and the right workable policies.
So the hardship is becoming unbearable even to our parents, actually, because you guys find out some students that are supposed to be sent with food, and the shortage of foodstuffs is very high. So at some point, students suffer in school, actually. So we are calling on the government if they can look into it. We were being promised as students the student loan program, of which we have yet to see it happening in the country.
We plead that people will bring this, take away this fuel subsidy, so that food will be in the market and the cost price of food in the market will come down. Because if you go to the market, you cannot buy rice, you cannot buy maize, nothing at all that you can buy, because the money is too much. Especially we that are having plenty children, where do we run to?
A Global Hunger Index report published in 2023 ranked Nigeria 109 out of 125 countries as one of the countries with the most hungry population in the world. Gibson So Adugo, Trust TV News, Yola.
There you have it. Indeed, no child should go hungry in Nigeria. Still on agriculture, in Jigawa State, the government is doubling down on its agricultural development plans with the introduction of a new agricultural policy document. Here's the report.
This new initiative, crafted by the state's agricultural experts in collaboration with the Foreign Commonwealth Development Office. The policy aims to revamp farming practices in Jigawa to fully exploit its diverse economic potential for the benefits of the state and its people. The partnership between the Jigawa state government and the FCDO, which has lasted over 2 decades, spans several key economic sectors.
We assisted on these people, the Propco, FCDO, the partners, and the other people important events. We were able to perform the new policy, which is here before you, which is about the agenda. That is the 2024.
First priority is food security, food and nutrition security in all its ramifications of availability, access, utilization, and stability of food supply to the citizenry of Jigawa states. The second policy thrust is the ensure job creation and employments. As you are aware, Jigawa state is blessed with 7.2 million people as the projected populations, and that constitutes over 3 million people, youths between the ages of 15 and 35 years. In line with His Excellency commitments to reform and create sustainable livelihoods and also ensure stability of the states, and using agriculture as a vehicle for transforming of the agri sector, food and nutrition security is considered as a major thrust of the policy of the Agricultural Trust.
Excellency, in our MAF Acts, the Mutual Accountability Framework, the FCDO through our program, the PropCom Plus, has promised to support the state to review the agricultural policy to come in line with your vision in the agricultural sector, and also to develop an investment strategy in the state. So this is to inform you that, Your Excellency, we are delivering on that promise and will continue to support the state in all capacity and as a good partners to ensure that the vision and your 12-point agenda that you outlaid to the people of Jigawa State is achieved through our support and your unending support and collaborations.
Governor Umar Namaji is delivering on his promises to the people of Jigawa by addressing issues such as poverty, unemployment, rural-urban migration among the youth, and other social security challenges through agriculture.
One of our objectives along the agricultural sector is, the technical advisor said, is providing food and nutrition security. This is very important and very dear to us. Unfortunately for us, this is also in line with the President's agenda, Renew Hope agenda on food security. So that means with this, we are working in tandem with the government at the center. Therefore, this is something that we need to celebrate because it's something that will drive a complete development of value chain right from the center to the subnational level.
This policy document is set to transform agricultural practices in Jigawa State, aiming for more productive and result-oriented farming.
The security stories in Lagos, gunmen have abducted the managing director of Fuani Company along with 3 Lebanese brothers who work for Fuani Nigeria Limited while traveling by boat on Friday. Fuani Nigeria Limited specializes in electronics and is the sole distributor of LG, Hisense and Maxi products in Nigeria. The brothers Abbas Fuani, Yusuf Fuani and Amtal Fuani were said to have been abducted around 6 p.m. on Friday. They were reportedly coming from their factory by boat when they were abducted. It was learned that they were abducted around Falamo Bridge while traveling from Apapa to Victoria Island. A source familiar with the incident who spoke on the basis of anonymity said that the kidnappers had reached out demanding $1.5 million as ransom. When contacted, the Lagos State Police Public Relations Officer Benjamin Hundeyin confirmed the development. The Nigerian police force has sounded the alarm over alleged irregularities and corruption that allegedly marred the recently released list of successful candidates in the ongoing 2022-2023 police constables recruitment. This follows a deluge of complaints from unsuccessful candidates and stakeholders over the disappearance of names of those who were screened and successful up to the final stage. In a press statement on Saturday, Force Public Relations Officer ACP Olumuyiwa Adejobi stated that scrutiny of the published list revealed several anomalies. Adejobi added that the list also contained names of candidates who had failed either the computer-based test or the physical screening, as well as those disqualified after being found medically unfit. The police spokesman revealed that the Inspector General of Police IGP Olukayode Egbetokun had on June 10 written to the chairman of the Police Service Commission objecting to the list and citing the irregularities discovered. Adejobi disclosed that the police had dissociated themselves from the published list and called for a transparent and credible review of the process to recruit qualified, competent, trainable and productive hands into the Nigerian police force. The management of Rivers State University, Nkpolo, Port Harcourt in Rivers State has suspended 4 students for 1 academic session for allegedly assaulting and injuring a 300-level student, Victor Tobin. A statement by the acting registrar, I.B. Harry, on Saturday disclosed that the decision was made at a meeting held on Friday. The students, who are members of the Man O' War Campus Security Group, were suspended for allegedly assaulting and inflicting physical injury on their colleague. The incident occurred on June 12, 2024 at Hostel F within the university campus. The university's acting registrar stated that the actions of the 4 students were deemed contrary to the university's regulations, leading to this suspension. She also called on the student population to continue living in peace and harmony and to comply with all university rules and regulations. On environmental matters, the Federal Capital Territory Emergency Management Department has warned of an imminent flood disaster in Jahi and Gishiri districts, Abuja, due to building on waterways. The Acting Director General of FEMD, Florence Wenegeme, gave the warning in Abuja on Friday after a risk assessment exercise in the areas by the department. Wenegeme said that the assessment has revealed that residents have built houses on waterways and floodplains while drainages were blocked in Jahi and Gishiri. This, according to her, can lead to flooding, which she described as a disaster waiting to happen. She explained that the risk assessment exercise was to enable FEMD to develop strategic mitigating measures against flooding and other disasters and effectively respond to emergencies. She said that the FEMD would write to the Department of Development Control to visit the areas to ensure all developments in the areas were authorized and in conformity with the Abuja Master Plan. Over in Lagos State, the Ministry of Environment and Water Resources has commenced the removal of structures obstructing the free flow of rainwater and causing flooding in Okezi, Uboja Strait and other parts of Okota, Oshodi, Solo local government area of the state. This followed the commitment of the Lagos State government to ensure a cleaner Lagos and zero tolerance for building on drainage right-of-way. The Lagos State Commissioner of Environment, Tokunbo Wahab, made this known via his verified X handle. The Commissioner mentioned that any structure that impeded drainage systems would be promptly demolished to mitigate the risk of flooding and uphold the safety and well-being of residents.
Show me why you need.
Over in Kano State. Over the years, residents of Unguwa, Dabai and Wakai Waje community in the state have been dealing with recurring floods resulting in the destruction of their livelihood. Trust TV's Aisha Bashir visited the community as this year's rainy season sets in. Here's the report.
Every year by this time, severe floods struck the community of Ungwardabai, leaving widespread destruction in its wake. According to residents, the recent rain have caused significant damages to businesses and infrastructure, with the main road connecting the community to the nearby town rendered impassable.
We
are facing many problems in Ungwandabai. As you can see our roads, and the rainy season is here. Those who want to go to work spend hours here waiting for tricycles because most do not like to pass this road. We have so many problems, especially our roads, now that the rain has started. Many places, including our roads, remain flooded for a long time, and it leaves us at high risk of diseases. Last year, when the rains became too much, it even flooded our homes, leaving us trapped.
The situation has been worsened by the ongoing rainy season, which has turned the already bad roads into impassable rivers. Vehicles are unable to fly the roads, leaving residents stranded and forced to wade through the floodwaters to get to their destinations.
Sincerely, during the rainy season, we suffer a lot. The roads are always flooded. Okay, that is why tricycle riders that do not live here do not like to even come here at all. We have appealed to the government several times for help.
Meanwhile, the community members appealing to the Gwale Local Government Council to intervene and repair the roads, but so far no action has been taken. As the residents of Ungwardabai and Waikawaji continue to endure these challenges, the hope remains that their voices will be heard and tangible solutions will be implemented to reduce their plight and restore a sense of normalcy to their lives. Nana Aisha Bashir, Trust TV News, Kano.
You're also watching news on Trust TV. Let's now get to business, where Nigeria's inflation rate increased to 33.95% in May 2024 from 33.69% in April. The National Bureau of Statistics disclosed in its latest data that the figure represents an increase of 0.26 percent points when compared to the April 2024 headline inflation rate. The data revealed that on a year-on-year basis, the headline inflation rate was 11.54% points higher compared to the rate recorded in May of 2023, which was 22.41%. On the contrary, on a month-on-month basis, the headline inflation rate in May 2024 was 2.14%, which was 0.15% lower than the rate recorded in April of 2024. This, according to the NBS, means that in the month of May 2024, the rate of increase in the average price level is less than the rate of increase in the average price level in April 2024. Away from Nigeria, at least 4 people have been killed in unrest in Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo's North Kivu province. Local officials said on Saturday after people took to the streets to protest against a surge in deadly attacks by suspected terrorists. The Allied Democratic Forces ADF, a rebel group affiliated to the Islamic State, are alleged to have killed more than 40 people in an attack on Maikengo village this week and over 80 in attacks on other villages in the province the previous week. Lubero military administrator Alien Kiwewa said the insecurity has fueled public frustration, leading to the killing of 2 soldiers in Lubero territory by a crowd who searched their vehicle overnight on Friday. The unrest in Lubero continued into Saturday, with some residents erecting makeshift barricades, leading to a standoff with security forces. A similar protest broke out in the city of Butembo on Saturday, with hundreds of youths taking to the streets, wielding sticks, chanting and singing songs to denounce the widespread insecurity. Still on the foreign scene, Cyril Ramaphosa has pledged to work with politicians across the political spectrum after being re-elected as president of South Africa by lawmakers on Friday. His re-election comes after his African National Congress party struck a dramatic late coalition deal with the main opposition party and others to allow him to clinch a second term in office. Ramaphosa won convincingly in a parliamentary vote against the surprise candidate Julius Malema, the leader of the far-left Economic Freedom Fighters, EFF. Ramaphosa won 283 votes to Malema's 44 in the 400-member House. Ramaphosa secured his second term with the help of lawmakers from the second biggest Democratic Alliance party and others after the ANC lost its 30-year parliamentary majority in the landmark election 2 weeks ago. The ANC signed an agreement with the DA just hours before the vote for president, ensuring Ramaphosa returned as leader of Africa's most industrialized economy. The parties will now co-govern South Africa in its first national coalition where no party has a majority.
Madam Speaker, I want to thank the members of this august House who have voted for me, who through their vote have invested and placed their trust in me. I intend to work with all members and indeed to work together with even those who did not vote for me or who did not find their way clear to vote for me. And this is their democratic right. We are all South Africans, and I will serve all and work with even those who did not support me tonight.
Our President Bola Tinubu has extended his warm congratulations to His Excellency President Cyril Ramaphosa of South Africa on his re-election. A statement issued on Saturday by Ajuri Ngelale, special advisor to the President, Media and Publicity, said the President also congratulated the people of South Africa on the peaceful and successful conduct of the general election. While wishing President Ramaphosa a successful term in office, President Tinubu called for the strengthening of bilateral ties between Nigeria and South Africa as strategic partners in Africa for the overall advancement of the continent. And in sports, the Federal Capital Territory witnessed the opening day of the 2024 Five Stars Premier League, where 4 matches were on display on day 1 of the league. Trust TV sports correspondent Adini Ajishafe has this and more updates from the world of sports.
The opening match day 1 of 2024 Five-Star Premier League between Turf Arena FC on green jersey and Tribe-like FC on yellow jersey was a delight to watch as the two teams showed competitive spirit in the league opener. Both teams gave good account of themselves in the defense, middle of the park, wings and in the attack, searching for opportunity to outsmart each other in the first half. The second half became more intense as both teams were more conscious in search of goals to separate the stalemate they had in the first. On-field players tested their goalkeepers, who were on ground to save their respective teams. The fierce encounter, not yielding goals, both teams entertained spectators with solid football history on display to show their readiness for the league. Despite no goals registered in the first match, the players bear their minds on the outcome.
It was a very good match. The game was intense from the blast of the whistle to the end of the whistle. We expected more. I expected more from my teammates, but regardless of the scores, it's a good one. We took a point. So from here, we know where we stand.
Normally, we come from the top. We start well and we finish well, but it's a shame that we drew the game. But I bet you next game you see our best.
Matron of the league and First Lady of Kwara State, Ambassador Olufolake Abdulrazak, was full of praise for the participating teams.
It's an exciting game. We've seen the goalkeepers save a couple of shots. I think they're doing very well. I think the standard is quite high. I'm very proud of them. We saw the warm-up when we arrived, and we looked at them and we thought, oh my God, this is a very hectic warm-up. How are they going to, have the energy to play the game? But you can see that it's really frenetic energy, and they're really up and doing.
Minister of Youth Development was on ground to watch his youth display their football talents.
Tell you, even with the short time, you can see that we have a young, talented, lovable young people in this country. And if we don't start with this, we don't encourage this, you can see it's a private stuff, and we have been partnering together. We've been trying to see what we can do, work with different organizations and that.
Director, Propel Sport, Tunde Macaulay, believes a lot of football talents abide in Nigeria, hence the need to support grassroots sports by witnessing such event.
Well, with NPFL, which as you said is the Premier League of our sport, we always have to make sure that that's the correct shop window, all right, both for all of us here in Nigeria, but also outside of Nigeria, where Nigerians who live abroad want to know what's happening in their Premier League. But where do those stars come from, right? Those stars cannot be developed without facilities like this, clubs like this, juniors like this, because those youngsters, when they see the players at the highest level, they want to be like them.
Managing Director of 5-Star Premier League said the league is getting better with more teams participating.
We appreciate all the teams participating because they've put in the effort, put in the hard work, pre-season games, and then they are here. The first match was a draw. That's to show how competitive this season would become. And then having the regions of Abuja, Lagos, Kaduna, and Benin participating this year shows great quality.
64 teams will battle for honors in 2024 5-Star Premier League that will run through Abuja, Lagos, Kaduna and Benin City for the coveted trophy and prize money. Barely a month after being unveiled as the 41st manager to handle the Nigerian national team, Super Eagles Finidi George has resigned his appointment. While the Eagles rescued a 1-0 draw against South Africa, they were stunned 2-1 by lowly rated Benin Republic in Abidjan. Nigerian Football Federation has announced it will employ an expatriate technical advisor in the coming weeks, a move that probably triggered Finidi's resignation. Finidi's decision to quit his job boils to the fact that he doesn't want to work as an head coach under a foreign technical advisor, being relegated to an assistant, a former role he played under Jose Pizarro. Meanwhile, Napoli and Super Eagles star Victor Osimhen has taken a swipe at Finidi George for the direct attack on him as well as blaming him for his failure with the team. In an Instagram video, Osimhen detailed how he wanted to join his teammates in the camp to motivate them despite being injured.
I call him. I tell him this thing. Even when I tell him, I tell him, make him allow me. I can't deal with the boys. Now, what thing I tell him with that? All these things, I get them for video. I get everything for video.
Nigeria stands 5th in Group C with 3 points behind Rwanda, Benin Republic, South Africa and Lesotho, just ahead of Zimbabwe. That's Sport News. I'm Adeniyi Ajishafe.
And that's a wrap of News Hour tonight on Trust TV. For more of our news, documentaries and programs, please do all to follow us on all our social media platforms and on our YouTube live stream. I am Chiamaka Mwafo. Thank you for joining us tonight.
From the Daily Trust News Center, this is the News Hour.